everybody, and welcome back to Spark of Vintage. My name is Cindy, and I am so happy that you're here with us today. This is a very special edition of the Sonnet's Garden Blooms Makers Box. So, as you can see, we have beautiful decoupage papers, paint colors, and a few little surprises this month. This month, we are celebrating the second anniversary of the Sonnet's Garden Blooms Makers Box. Congratulations, Sonnet, on a really fabulous box and a lot of great projects and wonderful times that we've had over the last couple of years. And I look so forward to what's ahead. Well, Sonnet laid forth a pretty interesting challenge for us this month for the makers of the Sonnet's box. We were challenged with a type of scavenger hunt. All of the makers were required to use the box materials, but everyone had to create a tray, a basket, a planter, a box, and a sign with the contents of the box this month. So I am so looking forward to seeing all of the others makers projects as well, to see how we all interpreted all of these beautiful items. This first project was the perfect excuse to use this beautiful rose silver tray that has been in my stash for quite a while. I cleaned the tray with some silver polish because I wanted a lot of brightness to pop through, because we were going to be using the Sweet Pickens milk paint in gumdrop, and I wanted to be sure that there was a little bit of silver and color when we did that Connie method with the heavy bond and the crackle paint. This gumdrop color is such a vibrant and beautiful color in person. I was so happy that we got it with the box this month. It's the first time I've used this color, and I was really excited to see how it kind of teetered a little bit between green and then sometimes a little blue, and I loved how it partnered with the silver. I got excellent coverage with this, and I thought, we need a little bit of brightening, so I thought some of those beautiful white roses from the IOD transfer in the ephemera melange would be an excellent partner with the roses that were already on the rim of the tray. Anytime we're applying transfers to the crackle milk paint, we always want to make sure that we apply it before we add our dark oils or any of our waxes. And then after I applied my transfer, I did apply the dark wax, and it got in beautifully in all those little cracks and crevices. I got a little bit of chippiness, and it resulted with a really beautiful piece that I was very excited to see. I also love that some of that silver underneath was worth the time we took to polish it, as it kind of peeped through and hits the light really well. Project 2 is this beautiful rustic wood tray. I found this at the Goodwill bins, and it was a little more than I usually pay, but I love the shape of this. I love the durability. The wood is really heavy, and I'm hoping that I might be able to use this in my booth for storage under my shelves. I once again used the Sweet Pickens milk paint in gumdrop. I did a heavy bond treatment on the piece before I applied the milk paint, and got, again, excellent crackle. This time they're a little bit smaller cracks, but more of them. So this is the exciting thing of working with milk paint. You just never know what it's going to do for you. Of course, I also put the dark oil wax on it and kind of mushed it in there to get all of that oil down in the cracks so we could really see the texture in the piece. I wanted to give the crate a little bit of an industrial or warehouse look, so I used the topography stamp from IOD and spelled out wares on both sides of the box, and it kind of reminds me of old milk cartons or old milk crates. Well, project 3 takes us into the second part of the challenge, which is a planter. So I used this wood box that I had. I applied Roycycle decoupage paper in the worn porch planks to the basic wood piece, and it elevated it incredibly. I just love the detail and the texture feel of this beautiful decoupage paper. I used some distress paint from Tim Holtz in scorched timber, and it was a beautiful match for the piece. And I was able to not only paint the trim of the planter, but also do some detail work with the distressed paint. I poured the IOD swan molds in resin and detailed those with crinoline in the paint, the DIY paint, and then added rusty brown metallic wax from Finnabar and also the vintage gold to give those swans and their feathers a little bit of detail. And I was very happy with how everything came out. I just attached the swans with heavy body gel from Finnabar, and I think it makes a beautiful indoor or outdoor planter. My second project in the planters is inspired by that wonderful Harlequin napkin that came as a bonus piece in our box this month. These kind of basic little storage cubes, I thought, need to have a little bit of magic and a little bit of Alice in Wonderland to them. So I applied the napkin to both pieces. And I also have a very, very old first edition of Alice in Wonderland that I found at the bins, and it was torn to pieces. But I've been able to use the pages over the years for different projects and card making and some mixed media. So I used some pages from the book as well as the napkin to decorate the sides of the planters. I also had some resin Alice in Wonderland characters that I had poured quite a while ago in my stash from a couple of the Stamperia molds that were released about 3 or 4 years ago. I painted those with heavy body gesso and then black paint, and then highlighted them with brass metallic wax. I applied the characters to all four sides of each one of the planters using the heavy body gel, and I matched a few little character icons with each one of them to give them a little bit of match with the storybook pages that were on each of the planters. Then I took some red and white roses because the Queen of Hearts wants her roses painted red. So I added them to each one of the planters to give it that little extra Alice in Wonderland nod. I was so delighted with how they came out, and I love the pop of red that came with the fusion paint in Highlander to give all of those Queen of Hearts characters a little bit of extra personality. Project 5 takes us into the third part of our challenge where we had to make a box over. This box was another one that had been in my stash for quite a long time. I had already applied texture paste to it through a stencil. It is an old Tim Holtz ideology box. It's made out of very heavy cardstock, paper covered. So it's there to take a lot of moisture. It can take a lot of mixed media wear and tear. So I thought this would be a great chance to experiment with using not only the DIY paint in Old 57, but to also use some of the mixed media ink sprays. Those are very highly concentrated inks, and we just apply them with the spray bottle using a lot of water to get a very fluid kind of puddle or pool of ink that we can kind of move around with our dryer and get some really unique kind of aurora borealis looking colors and textures. This is really my favorite kind of mixed media to do, is the one where you're just out there making a mess, You don't know how it's going to turn out, and you just often surprise yourself, and it is something that can be really exciting. Also, in mixed media, nothing ever goes to waste. So, we don't want that pool of highly concentrated inks to go to waste. So, I used some very heavy cardstock, applied it to the box, absorbed a lot of that extra ink. But what was cool about this was that it also lifted a little bit of that paint off as well. So my heavy cardstock now is a beautiful ink impression, as well as a little bit of texture from the lifted paint that came off of the box. So it's a very cool way to do mixed media, and you really can't go wrong. You just have fun. I painted the inside of the lid with the raw silk that was in our box this month. So that was a neutral background to apply the rice paper from the painted photographer. And I had that beautiful Paris clock transfer from IOD that fit perfectly on the inside of the box. Sometimes you just get lucky and all of the right elements come together. I love how these clocks just kind of bookend with each other. Once my mixed media inks were dry, I went ahead and found some more of the metallic waxes from Finnabar and just applied them in different areas where I had those texture paste areas that had kind of risen and had a little more texture on the page. So I applied the metallic waxes in peacock, white, silver, a little bit of turquoise green to just bring out and complement that old 57 paint. You know I'm not gonna miss an opportunity to put a little sparkle and glitter onto anything that Connie creates. So in addition to the complementary colors that I used from Stickles, I also used some of the black diamond stickles in order to highlight that beautiful eye that she painted, as well as the clock face and the rose down in the corner. The fourth part of our challenge was a basket. So, our first piece and project number 6 is going to be the Mushroom Meadow Basket that I painted with Summer Crush chalk paint from DIY. I love the detail of this basket. It is super sturdy for a little basket. And I love the kind of dimensional take on it with the two layers. And so the second layer I painted with elm wood from Fusion DIY. I kind of intermittently did the painting and then poured some resin pieces from IOD, the mushroom mold that my sister Sharon, Inky Spirits, gifted to me, and I got to use for the first time for this project. I applied the mushrooms to the basket on each one of the panels using the heavy body gel. But sometimes resin can be a little stiff and we have to give it a little extra help. So I clipped it, and I like to do rubber bands around my pieces when I'm applying them with the heavy body gel, especially on a round surface, because the bands and the clips kind of help those pieces stay in place until the heavy body gel sets. Project 7 is a second basket for our challenge. I'm using this vintage picnic basket that I found at the Goodwill bins with this beautiful hardwood cover. I painted it initially with the raw silk white color and then that beautiful pop of blue from Old 57. That color reminds me so much of the gorgeous hamper baskets you see in London from Fortnum and Mason, and I kind of modeled this piece after that inspiration. After I sealed the old 57, I found some beautiful transfers from IOD that had the teacups and the birds on them. It is one of their new summer releases. And I applied those to both the top and the inside of the lid of the picnic basket. I mean, who could ask for a better theme, especially since I had Alice in Wonderland in the back of my mind this whole series, than the Time for Tea basket. Really happy with how this one came out as well. Again, a simple flip, some beautiful transfers, and colored paint goes a long way for a very simple project. The final category of our challenge is a sign. So my first sign is this wood pumpkin. I love the decoupage paper I have on this one, the time-worn tin tiles from Roycycled. What a beautiful textured piece. I thought, let's go for a steampunk pumpkin. And the beautiful thing was I already had the chocolate paint from DIY from a previous box. So it just touched up the brown that was already there, gave it a fresh coat of paint. And I also had all of those twisted coil wires in my stash from a previous pumpkin project a couple of years ago. I just have never gotten around to cleaning it out of my stash, and now is another one of those wonderful, happy accidents. This last project is created with a very special decoupage paper designed by Sonnet exclusively for the 2-year anniversary. And when I saw this huge bird, I couldn't even get it all in the camera to show you guys. The first thing I thought of was she looks like Stevie Nicks. So that was my inspiration. Rhiannon the Rockin' Robin. I used all of those steampunk elements on her hat and on her feathers, and I just gave her butterflies and dragonflies and flowers, and it was a lot of fun. I also used crackle paint from Tim Holtz in order to give her glasses a little bit of a shine and a little bit of crackle when it dries. Typically, it will create what looks like cracked glass. So still a fun piece to do. And to finalize the piece, I took very watered down, high pigmented gold and just splashed our little gold dust woman with the whole sign. And I think all in all, it came out in probably one of my favorite projects I've ever done. And I'm going to dedicate this one to Sylvia at Backyard Brushes, who's not only a Stevie Nicks fan, but has a heart of gold. Well, that's a wrap for the June 2026 Makers Box and 2-year celebration anniversary. And if you can, join us for the Creative Express Makers Box edition. We're having a whatnot auction and live creative intermission with Connie, the painted photographer, on Wednesday, June 17th. We'll be auctioning off one-of-a-kind Makers Box projects from all of the Sonnet's Garden Blooms Makers Boxes. I'll be on at 1:30 p.m. Eastern for 30 minutes. Details will be in the show description and the comments below. Well, thanks for watching, and I appreciate you joining us today for this special 2-year anniversary box. And I want to especially thank Sonnet for allowing me to be a maker. I want to thank the maker community for being so supportive, but I especially want to thank all of you, our subscribers, our watchers, and our creative community for being so supportive and for joining us here every month. Be sure to bookmark, subscribe, and we'll see you again really soon.